The problem of heat in urban housing in the Philippines is getting out of hand. On several occasions in 2020, the heat index reportedly reached or even exceeded 50 degrees Celsius. Amid a global pandemic and with the government pushing for various levels of community quarantine, some Filipinos have no choice but to stay inside their homes. But with the heat on not exactly cooperating, people at home could still be prone to respiratory diseases like coughs and cold. Meanwhile, in areas like Davao City's Paquibato district, the Ata-Manobo have mastered the elements of making their homes cooler. Their homes are much more ventilated than our homes in the city. In this episode, we want to focus on why Philippine houses are so warm. There is so much we can learn from our indigenous peoples, including lessons in architecture. In cities, the soil, air, and surface temperatures are always warmer than in rural areas. This effect is known as the urban heat island effect, a term which first came into use in the mid-20th century. Yet, even with UHI, houses are still designed in a way that it increase heat rather than make it cooler. The lack of trees and living things in urban houses is a major factor for its heat. Some developments, for example, prefer to cement the pavements rather than including trees. Materials are also a problem because most of the houses in urban space housing are cement structures that trap heat. In urban homes, eaves also contribute to the problem. Instead of protecting the walls and the residents from the elements, the design of the eaves usually meet only the minimum requirements. Meanwhile, some urban home designs also have openings that are not maximized to harmonize heat, radiance, and ventilation. Some of the openings even facing direct sunlight instead of north or south to keep homes cool. Some homes don't even have air vents. What's more ironic is that as populations in warm and hot cities have increased, so too has the demand for indoor cooling. These are typically met by air conditioning. Most houses in urban developments use air conditioning. While it can provide convenience for dwellers, these cooling machines can actually adapt to the increase of outdoor air temperatures. But indigenous houses of the Ata-Paquibato cultural community have it better. Situated in the portions of Davao where there is no urban heat island effect, these houses still adhere to the tropical design of the houses. Houses are surrounded by trees and mountains that make the site itself cooler. While their houses are oriented to face the sun in the east and west, the spaces for living areas are separated by a veranda that diminishes heat as it enters the living space. Think of it as an atrium for smaller houses. Materials are made of breathable materials such as amakan and bamboo. They do not trap heat but rather expel them outside. Some rural housing do use cement blocks, but they still incorporate breathing materials in their vernacular house designs. Eaves are maximized to as long as 3 meters, and openings are everywhere, especially on the gable end to expel hot air. Now, don't fret. City dwellers can still do something about their houses. As a Filipino architect, the short-term goal would be influencing people on how they can improve their convenience and cool their houses by taking a look at traditional indigenous dwellings and Filipino architecture. You can cool your house by putting plants around your house, like the indigenous people surrounding. You can even extend your eaves. You can also change the placement of spaces so that there are areas that diminish heat before the living spaces. Reduce direct sunlight while also letting your space breathe. You can also incorporate breathing materials. And you can consider putting air vents on your gable ends. These strategies need not cost much. And maybe with these strategies, houses in urban Philippines can be more comfortable despite the heat. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have suggestions and comments, feel free to put them in the comment section below. And also, don't forget to subscribe! If you're wondering where we got our information, check out the description below for references that were really helpful.